Hello and welcome to another tarot reading from me. Today's topic is going to be on what are your first impressions of your future spouse. I really thought about it and I really felt like choosing this particular topic, even though I know that some of you have requested some other topics as well. But don't worry, I will probably be covering at least a few of those in future videos. But for now, I really felt like talking about this topic. And for those of you who are interested, I also did a similar video a while ago on what are your future spouse's first impressions of you. I will probably be linking it in the video description, so go ahead and check it out if you are curious as well. And I just want to say before I get into it that, as usual, I have chosen the crystals intuitively. I concentrated on the question and asked Spirit which crystals I should choose for this reading. And these are the ones that came out in this particular order. So, these are for those of you who would like to choose with just crystals. Pile number 1, you have the ruby zoisite crystal. Pile number 2, you have the agate geode. Pile number 3, you have the smoky quartz crystal. Pile number 4, you have the jade crystal. All right, so you can pause the video if you need more time to think about it. Once again, I suggest that you take some deep breaths, meditate upon the question at hand, close your eyes, try to breathe, try to exhale longer than you inhale. That will help calm you down and center you. You can address this question to a higher power as well, spirit, God, however you want to call it. And yes, and then open your eyes and just choose the first pile that stands out without overthinking it. And of course, if you feel drawn to more than one pile, you are free to watch several or even all of them and just choose whichever messages resonate with you. So I will see you at your reading. All right, so this is the selection of the card for each pile. I'm going to add timestamps so you can skip through this if you don't want to sit through it. Spirit, what can you tell me about pile number 1? The people who chose the ruby zoisite crystal. What are their first impressions of their future spouse? What are their first impressions of their future spouse, Spirit? What is pile number 2's first impressions of their future spouse? The people who chose the agate geode. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 3, the people who chose the smoky quartz? What are their first impressions of their future spouse going to be? Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 4, the people who chose the jade crystal? What will their... All right, this one just popped out. So let's see. Pile number 1, you have this card that says the gift with number 23. Pile number 2, you have this card that says change of seasons. Pile number 3, you have this card which says pure nature and number 7. All right, pile number 4, you have this card, the Observer, with number 50, which boils down to a 5 numerologically. Nice. All right, let's see if I zoom in a little bit. A little bit more. Actually, not so much. The lighting isn't great, but I mean, there's not much I can do about it. All right, I'm not sure. Okay, this is better. So for those of you who would like to choose with both crystals and cards, these are your options. Once again, you know, this is the abbreviated version. So pile number 1, you have this card over here, and or this why is it not focusing? All right. This crystal, which is a ruby zoisite crystal. Pile number 2, you have this card over here, and or this geode, this agate geode. All right, this is like, I don't know why it's not focusing. It only focuses when it wants to. Pile number 3, you have this pile over here, and or this smoky quartz crystal. Pile number 4, you have this card over here, and or this jade crystal. All right. So these are your options. Once again, I recommend that you take some deep breaths, maybe close your eyes, meditate upon the question at hand. Try to exhale longer than you inhale. That will help center you and calm you down. And also you can address this question to a higher power, whether you want to call it God or however you want to call it, spirit, whatever you feel comfortable with. And then open your eyes and choose the first pile that stands out to you instinctively without overthinking it. And of course, if you feel drawn to more than one pile, you are free to listen to several or even all of these messages and take whichever messages resonate. And I will see you at your reading. All right, so welcome pile number 1. This is your reading if you have chosen this card over here that says the gift with the number 23. And or this ruby zoisite crystal. And I will be reading the description for this card from the booklet, this booklet. But first I want to get into getting the rest of the oracle cards. So Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 1, the people who chose the ruby zoisite crystal? What are their first impressions of their future spouse? What are their first impressions of their future spouse? Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 1? Oops, not these ones. I made a mistake. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 1? The people who chose the ruby zoisite crystal, what are their first impressions of their future spouse? All right. They wanted to come out together. So let's see. You have Unicorn, infinite possibilities. You are the sovereign of the seen and unseen worlds. The magic of love surrounds you. Beauty transforms you. Listen to the spirits of light. Abandon the darkness. Go beyond the ordinary and become the legendary. So you're definitely going to be impressed by this person. Personal choice. Wow, I've never come across this card before. So it says, close your eyes. What animal do you imagine? What strengths are they known for? What wisdom do they share? Embrace these qualities. Wow. Like, I feel this is like a message for you, maybe from spirit. That you, especially, like, my first impression with the unicorn was, you know, manifestation, magic, this kind of stuff. So it's like, maybe this is a message from spirit that you can manifest this person. So be careful what you look for. But let's see. Trust. This is kind of like falling hand in hand with the thing I already said. This is like trust in a higher power, or trust in your ability to attract the person you want. You also you have the gift here. It's all falling into place. And gratitude. Wow. Like, I feel like you're gonna think this is the person you have been dreaming of and have been manifesting for a long time. Many of you, like, especially those of you who have made conscious effort to manifest. And look at the wings here, you know, and look, you have butterflies here as well in this card. Butterflies in 3 cards, and then it says personal choice. Close your eyes. What animal do you imagine? And then you have, let's see what this card says. 23, the gift. I'm going to read from the booklet. Whimsy, excitement, curiosity, gift. Under a snowy sky, a woman with feathered hair, holds a little box. What is inside the box? We don't know for sure, but it seems to be a gift. Simple on the outside, but perhaps magical within. We can only imagine what would happen if we could tug the string and peer inside. Would it be the fulfillment of an old wish? Remember the curiosity we have before opening presents, the magical space between dreams and truth. A gift reminds us of the excitement we have in these special moments. Like, wow, like everything is already falling in line. Like, you're definitely gonna be smitten by this person. I'm getting like 9 of Cups energy because that's seen like a wish come true. So you're gonna think this person is a gift from the heavens already. Like, so you're definitely gonna like them from the beginning, I think. But let's see what the tarot cards have to say. Maybe the tarot cards will contradict the message. So, Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 1, the people who chose the Ruby Zoisite? What will be their first impressions of their future spouse? What will their first impressions of their future spouse be? Spirit, help me out. What will their first impressions of their future spouse be? What will their first impressions of their future spouse be? Spirit, help me out here. So let's see what we have first. The Illusionist, Knight of Stones, or the Knight of Pentacles. The Two of Wands, or the Two of Spirals. I cannot. The butterfly again. Are you seeing this? The World. All right, the World and the Two of Wands already. The Ace of Pentacles. This is a card that actually is connected to the gift. And you already have the gift. You definitely are going to see this person as a gift. And magic again. The High Priestess or Sorceress in this deck. Again, kind of magic. 9 of Wands. All right, interesting. So no contradiction so far. In fact, there are further reinforcements of the oracle cards. But let's see. Spirit, let's make sure that they're the right side up because I don't do reversals. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 1, the people who chose the Ruby Zoisite Crystal? What are their first impressions of their future spouse? What are their first impressions of their future spouse going to be? Spirit, what are their first impressions of their future spouse for pile number 1? The Page of Pentacles under the Knight of Pentacles already. The Two of Swords, all right. The 10 of Cups. Didn't I say that you see this person as a dream come true? King of Cups. The 3 of Cups. And the 6 of Swords. Interesting. So, let's break down. Amazing repetitions of themes here. So you have the gift, you have gratitude, you have trust, you have personal choice. With what animal do you imagine? And what strengths are they known for? What wisdom do they share? Embrace these qualities. I really feel like Spirit is telling you here that, first of all, this is a message for you to focus on cultivating the kind of qualities that you would want your ideal spouse to have as well. That may sound kind of weird. I mean, obviously, maybe not all of them, but I think that this is a message psychologically for some of you that be careful that you are not attracted to people just because they have something that you want. You know what I mean? There's like this thing in psychology where, let's say, it's called projection to some extent. I'm pretty sure this is what projection is. It's like you disown parts of yourself that you don't really recognize in yourself, and you project them onto the people around you. So let's say you're someone who secretly wants to travel, but maybe you're terrified for some reason, or the way that your life is right now, you just cannot imagine traveling on your own. So what you're going to do is you're going to be attracted to people who are very comfortable traveling, you know, globetrotters, like, you know, people who have traveled a lot and make it seem effortless. That's an example of maybe your psyche telling you that you need to cultivate more of the things that you want in your life instead of seeking out people who bring that into your life, if that makes sense. You know, that's a message definitely for some of you. But, you know, again, you would have to do some soul searching to figure out if that is for you or not. Now, the first thing that I can say is there's some theme of butterflies repeating here. You have butterflies here, butterfly here, butterfly here, butterfly here. I mean, either butterflies are going to be something connected to your first impressions of this person. So this could just be that you, and again, you have a unicorn here, and you have the gift here with a swan. So a lot of feathered things that are flying. You also have the high priestess. So this makes me think of, there's something just magical about this person. Maybe even otherworldly to some extent. You see them as mystical, having a deep level of understanding, maybe borderline psychic. Or this could be like you just feel a kind of a deja vu feeling for some of you the first time you see them. This could be maybe for some of you like you have a very strong spiritual bond, maybe even a karmic contract for some of you. Maybe this is someone you're meant to meet in this lifetime. And yeah, so there's going to be some kind of very strong intuitive feeling when you see this person. And then there's something connected with butterflies. So either this person, again, this could just mean that you see them as very magical and attractive and beautiful. There could also be the message that this person might have a certain refinement about them, maybe even fragility to some extent, like you could sense their vulnerability. That would definitely fall hand in hand with the King of Cups here. You know, this is like a person who's definitely not crude and aggressive. I don't think so, because you have the King of Cups and you have the High Priestess. So this is a person who seems very wise, very worldly as well, because you also have the world there. I didn't even consider this when I made the original analogy. But yes, and you also have the word psyche, which I know can mean many things, but I just have to laugh about it. Because I started talking about psychology and how, you know, you might be projecting desires for travel onto your future spouse. And then you have the world card with the word psyche. I mean, I didn't even think about this originally, but okay. This is kind of like, maybe for some of you that was very on the nose. I don't know. For those of you who have dreamt of traveling but kept postponing it for various reasons or fears. And in any case, you see this person is very refined, very intuitive, very sensitive, and someone who has a lot of emotional intelligence. And I don't think this is someone who comes across very strongly. I think they have a pretty, maybe not understated, they have a quiet energy about them. They have kind of like a, you know, what's the phrase? Still waters run deep sort of energy. So I think it's like, yeah, they're not like all over the place. They're not loud. They're not aggressive. And with respect, I'm actually, maybe this is not for all of you, but I'm actually feeling like for many of you, this person could give off a bit of an androgynous energy. Like if they're a man, they might have some feminine qualities, and if they're a woman, they might have some masculine qualities. Because I'm not seeing any particularly strong either feminine or masculine energy standing out here in the cards. And you have the number 2 twice. So actually, to backtrack a little bit, I would say this person has hefty amounts maybe of both energies, because you have the number 2 actually 3 times, right? You have it 2 of wands, 2 of swords, and the high priestess with the number 2 here. This could show a lot of moon energy, and you have the number 3 also, the number 6. So the number 3 is ruled by Jupiter. You have number 3 here with the 3 of Cups, and you have 21 with the World, which boils down to a 3 in numerology. And so this person could be someone who has a nice balance between masculine and feminine. And also, since Jupiter is represented rather strongly, this person definitely comes across as maybe a little bit of a hippie, of a globetrotter, like someone who has seen the world definitely more than you have. Maybe not has seen the entire world, but they're someone who likes to travel. They seem like someone who has vast experience, vast life experience, and they like to explore. They have a touch of the adventurer, but they're also very wise, very intuitive, very sensitive, very moon-like. So they could have like a nurturing feel about them. Maybe you might even sense like they feel like home when you first see them. And yeah, I think for some of you, you might, especially if you come from astrology, you might have Ketu conjunctions with this person. So either their Ketu is conjunct your planets, or or the other way around. Right? So you could have some kind of Ketu conjunctions, which is the south node in tropical astrology. You have the Ace of Pentacles. So you see this person definitely as a gift. You see this person as I think, yeah, like just something you have dreamt about for a long time. Like you can't believe that they're real, even to some extent. I think to many of you, this will seem like the ideal life partner right from the beginning. You will be like, yeah, this is the kind of person that I would love to have a family with and get married to. And also, let me see, they come across as pretty good with money as well. I think they could be having a stable financial position as well, because you have the Knight of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles. So I think this person does handle their finances well. They have a decent amount, let me put it like that, not hefty, of earth energy. So they do handle their finances. They are responsible. And they have a stable energy about them. And they also can be very good negotiators. They come across as really impartial. Like they're the kind of people who can easily put themselves in other people's shoes. So a lot of emotional intelligence, in other words. They're very good at reading people, handling people. They also might be coming across as someone who is really tired. Like maybe they have gone through a lot, and they are like, at the time when you see them, they're gonna come across as someone who has just barely come out of a difficult situation or a difficult chapter of their lives. Because you have the Six of Swords and the Nine of Wands above. The Nine of Wands can also suggest that this person can come across as a bit defensive, like maybe they are not exactly the most friendly individuals or the most open when you first get to know them. They will take time to warm up to you. And let's see. I wouldn't be surprised if this person has strong Ketu energy, or like I said, or you have Ketu in Synastry very strongly positioned. Yeah, but I think this person definitely also comes across as a little bit shy, a little bit hesitant, and you might have to make the first move with respect to this connection. They're not the most expressive people when it comes to their emotions. They also can come across as good friends, very loyal, and people who know how to enjoy the little things. People who care about people in general. They really believe in the brotherhood of man thing. and they really care about the greater good. They really care about, you know, spending time with people they really like. They really enjoy socializing, and they need relationships in their lives. So you really see them, you might even see them to some extent as someone who easily makes friends and who might even be like the life of the party. But in this person's energy, I also see a lot of introversion as well. So it could be that they're very fun, but only with a handful of people, or they come across as people who are very picky about who they allow to be close to them in their entourage. But when it comes to their close friends, the people who are lucky enough to get into that circle, they are very loyal to them, and they're very caring, and they love to have a good time with their friends. I think you really are gonna admire the fact that this person can just enjoy the little things in life, and that they're grateful, and they have a spiritual view of the world. For some of you, this person can come across as not just a globetrotter, but more specifically, someone who's into the outdoors, maybe hiking, you know, like really outdoorsy, really adventurous. Yeah, this is pretty much what I can see from the cards. So, let's see. Let me get some astrological notes. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 1? What are their first impressions of their future spouse? All right. Okay, that's enough. Let's get some more. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 1? What are their first impressions of their future spouse? What is pile number 1? First impressions of their future spouse, Spirit. Spirit, what is pile number 1's first impressions of their future spouse? Okay. Enough. Let's see. Twelfth house, interesting. This is like the trust and gratitude, I feel. This person could have a strong sense of faith. Second house, interesting. Fifth house, this explains the Three of Cups. This person knows how to have a good time. Seventh house. Oh, this explains the Ten of Cups. And the first house. All right. Nice. This person comes across as having a pretty strong personality. Libra, am not surprised because of the Two of Swords, which shows a bit of oh my God, Cancer. Didn't I say this person has a strong moon energy? Well, Cancer is ruled by the moon. And we have Mercury. Let's see. And you have the sun. Let's see. We have some nakshatras here as well. Kritika, which is also ruled by the sun. And Swati, which is again in Libra. And it also has some Rahu energy. And we have Taurus. All right, so the first things you will notice about this person. Definitely, I think this person could be foreign. Definitely, I should have said that from the beginning, because you have the World card and the Two of Wands. So you just see this person is really exotic, and like something is really exotic and foreign about them. And that's further reinforced by the 12th house showing up here. And with the second house, you could really notice their voice. Maybe they have a nice speaking voice, a nice singing voice. Another thing is that they could have a very nice face. It's like they're really pretty, because you also have Taurus there and Libra. So a lot of Venus energy. The second house is also some Venus energy. Yeah, so there could be something deliberate about them. Like I said, they come across as someone who enjoys the little things, the small pleasures of life. The bare necessities are Mother Nature's recipes, you know, from Baloo's song. So fifth house means that this person can come across as really creative. This explains the butterfly energy, really Like they could easily attract attention even without desiring it. The 12th house actually also shows this person is rather an introvert. So, and also there's that intuitive energy there. So like I said, with the high priestess, they could seem as someone who is a little bit supernatural. Like they have a strong interest in intuition and maybe even tarot and astrology and all this stuff. So they are someone who is, you know, a bit into spirituality and maybe even borderline psychic in some ways. And also, they are someone who is very creative, very imaginative. And with the first house, you're definitely going to notice their body. Like, you're going to really like the way that they look, definitely. With the seventh house, they're going to come across as your ideal partner. This is a confirmation of the 10 of Cups, which also came out here. And you have here Libra, like I said, Taurus, the Sun. So with the Sun, this is again more fifth house energy. With so much fifth house energy, I think another thing that you're going to notice is their smile. They're going to have a broad smile, beautiful, bright smile that really lights up the room. You're going to notice they have broad shoulders, especially if this is a man. But even as a woman, this could be someone who's more on the athletic side. They can also have a strong jawline, and you are going to notice if they, let me think. Oh yeah, they can also come across as someone who is really good with children. So they might just somehow give off this impression, either because they themselves are very in touch with that childlike innocence, they're creative and they like games. But I think they just give off this energy of they know how to handle children. And with Mercury, they can come across as younger than their age. And they also can come across as someone who's a good communicator. And maybe a bit of a social butterfly. Maybe this is where the butterfly is coming from as well. This is interesting. So this person has a little bit of both worlds. It's like they can come across as very intuitive, very deep, but they're also good with people. You know, it's like they have a very sharp mind, a lot of curiosity. They come across as having a youthful energy, even if they are older than you are. So with Cancer, like I said, this person is very intuitive, very nurturing, very warm and empathetic, I think. And they could feel like home for you. Like they feel like they have this soothing energy, you know, and they could be really artistic and good looking with all the Venus energy. Now with Kritika, this is interesting. So they're actually, funny enough, for some of you, I think maybe even for most of you to some extent, there's something also a little bit intimidating about this person. Also because you have the Sun, the fifth house, and the second house, and Kritika. Like somehow you're gonna get the impression that this person is good with weapons and or good with cooking or anything that has to do with fire. Like they will also come across as very sharp in their mind and in their speech. And with the Swati energy, this person definitely comes across as very charismatic and very sensuous. You know, so there's something solid about them and very, very attractive. Like, I think this is the kind of person that a lot of people find attractive, but they're not the kind of person that easily opens up to others. They can also come across as quite discerning and critical as well, with this Kritika energy. Yeah. And this is also a lot, actually, I did say a bit androgynous, and just to some extent, I still stand by it because you have Mercury and you have Cancer and you also have the Sun. So it's like you have the Moon, you have the Sun, you have Mercury. Mercury is a androgynous sort of energy, and especially if you come from my astrology channel, you know that. But it's like, yeah, they also have a hefty amount of Sun energy, which is really masculine. So yes, again, it does depend. I still stand by the generally androgynous energy, because if this person is a woman, they could come across as a bit androgynous again. And if this is a man, they could also have, like, it's like they do have a tough side, but they also have kind of that emotional intelligence, that intuition, that sensitivity, you know. So yes, they're somewhere kind of like in a nice balanced energy state. Yeah, so this is pretty much what I can see for you, pile number 1, and I hope that you have enjoyed it. And if you have, don't forget to like and subscribe and click on the notifications bell to see when I will post a new video. And also comment in the comment section with anything that resonated, didn't resonate, whatever you would like to share about this reading. And also if you have ideas for future readings, I would greatly appreciate it and I will take them into account. And also, if you're interested in a private tarot reading, you can check out the video description. I will leave my contact information there. And I will also leave a link to reviews I have gotten for private readings up until this point. And last but not least, I will be linking my astrology channel in the video description as well as in the pinned comment. So if you're interested in astrology, you can go and check it out. Maybe subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you at my next reading. Bye! So welcome pile number 2. This is your reading if you have chosen this card with the number 42 that says Change of Seasons, and or this geode, this agate geode. So this is going to be the card selection phase. I'm going to add timestamps so you can skip through it because I will be taking my time. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 2, the people who chose the agate geode? What are their first impressions of their future spouse? What are their first impressions of their future spouse? Spirit, what are pile number 2's first impressions of their future spouse? So we have pronghorn action. Now is the time to act. Opportunities are here. Move forward with confidence. Your talents will always help you land on the pinnacle. Your quick wit and keen senses will lead you to succeed. Bison, abundance. Sacred buffalo, cloak me in your wisdom. Keep me warm through the storms of life. Fill my life with goodness. Teach me the way of gratitude and prayer. And you have, ancestors and celebration. And now let me see the description for this card from the booklet, number 42. Change of seasons, transformation, life's ups and downs, development. In the center of this card stands a woman surrounded by blowing leaves, flowers, and snowflakes. As the wind blows them swirling up to her, she raises an arm in protection or welcome. We are not sure. This card reminds us that seasons change just as we do. Nothing is ever still, not a river, not even the mighty oak, and certainly not us. We are in a constant state of transformation. Even when we feel overwhelmed, if we can just quietly be, we will be moving in spite of ourselves. When life whirls around us, let the certainty of the cycle of seasons be a grounding force. Very interesting. Number 42 boils down to a 6 in numerology. Interesting because you have about transformation again. We have a butterfly here. We have multiple butterflies here. And you have ancestors. Because you have the ancestors card, like this could be really specific for some of you, but I wonder if this person will remind you of someone, or they could give you a deja vu feeling, or they could literally remind you of maybe someone you knew from your family, either in their energy or maybe even their physical appearance. But let's see what the cards have to say, the tarot cards. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 2, the agate geode? What are their first impressions? These just popped out. All right. What are their first impressions of their future spouse? Pile number 2, what are their first impressions of their future spouse? All right, so the first two just popped out. You have Page of Scrolls, which is the Page of Swords, and you have the Five of Mirrors, which is the Five of Cups, and you have the Chariot, and you have the World, the Eight of Swords, and the Eight of Wands. All right, let's see. Spirit, what are pile number 2's first impressions of their future spouse? What are pile number 2's first impressions of their future spouse? Help me out, Spirit. What are pile number 2's first impressions of their future spouse? Spirit, what are pile number 2's first impressions of their future spouse? I cannot. The Eight of Swords again. I already picked up this feeling, but I was going to shut up, so I'm going to shut up. You have the Knight of Wands. I'm going to shut up until I get all the cards. You have the Moon. You have the Page of Wands. You have the Nine of Cups. And you have the Page of Swords again. This is really interesting. Very strong messages here. Repetitions, repetitions. Spirit wants you to get some messages. So, first impressions, pile number 2. So 2 cards came out twice for you. This is the Page of Swords and the Eight of Swords. All right, and you also have some other strong cards. The Page of Swords, and then you also have the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands. This is giving me pretty youthful energy here. Like, this person, first of all, this is giving me like kind of a Peter Pan vibe. Like a mercurial vibe, you know, someone who is active, dynamic. You actually have this energy repeated also with the Eight of Wands and the Chariot. So this person and the World. So this person could be someone who comes across as very active, very constantly dynamic, constantly changing, maybe constantly chasing something. They come across as someone who has a strong willpower, who is very self-motivated. But you also see them as having a lot of limiting beliefs or a lot of prejudice. Like, this could be some Pride and Prejudice situation here. Like, you see them as prejudiced. You see them as, maybe worst case scenario, you might think they're a bit narrow-minded. I think this person is someone who's very opinionated, because you have the Page of Swords twice and you have the Eight of Swords twice. So this is like someone who really identifies with their ideas. They have a lot of intellectual ability and a lot of intellectual energy, but they might have some, or you might perceive them at first to have, you know, some limited beliefs, some prejudices. Like I said, you know, you might at first think like, oh my God, this person is like so closed-minded, you know, or you might think, yeah, they might have something that you perceive to be narrow-minded views, or and maybe unacceptable views in your perception, in your perspective. Interesting. Change of, you know what, when I saw change of seasons, and now with all the page energy, I really think for some of you there is a significant age difference with this person, and I think for most of you this could be someone who is younger, because the change of seasons energy kind of made me think of, you know what, like there's this feeling of this person's not right for me, or like there could be some kind of a hang up on either of your sides with respect to this relationship at first. You know, like, you know, I don't know if this is going to work out, or and I think the reason for that is either, again, either there's a significant age difference, and or this person's from a foreign country, because you have the world card here. Again, if you come from my astrology channel, this person could like have, I wouldn't be surprised if I would get Rahu energy here, because there could be like you're gonna pick up something very unusual about this person. So you're gonna think of them as a pretty far-fetched, I think, romantic partner at first, even though in some ways you will be impressed, because you also have the Nine of Cups here. Now, the Nine of Cups could come across in two different ways. Either, actually could be both things at the same time. So either you're going to see this person as a dream come true, as like, oh my god, where have you been my whole life? You know, there's definitely going to be a part of you that's going to be like, I can't believe this person. Like, where, like, literally like that, you know, where have you been all my life? And on the other hand, this could also show that you see this person as really self-sufficient, you know, like they're not someone who is clingy or needy. They're someone who is in a relatively nice, balanced, emotionally balanced state, you know, where they can fill their own cup. They have an aura of self-sufficiency and stability about them. And this really goes hand in hand with this energy here with the bison and the pronghorn. Again, this could show like Taurus, Capricorn energy as well to some extent. You know, like this is someone who gives you a feeling of security and safety when you are around them. But again, they love to travel. They could be coming from a foreign country, and you could perceive that, like, you could perceive them to be really dynamic, but also in some way foreign from you. Like they could be from a foreign culture, I think. And it's really interesting because you have the Five of Cups. So you somehow perceive this person as someone who is like spending too much time focusing on the negative. They and that goes hand in hand with the Eight of Swords, because you might see this person as, you know, they're like wasting time crying over spilled milk instead of seeing what's right in front of them. So this could be with respect to even you and your connection. Like maybe you see this person as really attractive from the beginning, and maybe you even are going to make the first move, but they're not going to immediately respond the way that you would like them to, because the Five of Cups can show, again, so again, this is why I think there's like a cultural background difference, or maybe a significant age difference, or something that just makes this relationship implausible at first. And either like one or both of you could have a lot of hangups. This is why you have the Eight of Swords and you have the Five of Cups. So it's like there could be this energy of like, I don't know if this is going to work out. This is so weird. This is so unconventional. But the message of the Eight of Swords is, whenever you are stuck in overthinking or analysis paralysis, always follow the intuition. Always follow your gut feeling. This is what the water in the Eight of Swords represents. You know, if you actually look at this image, she's not really, I mean, you can't really see her arms, but the theory here is that she's actually wrapped up in this cloth, and she may not even have her arms tied. She just thinks that she is a prisoner, but she's not really a prisoner. This is what the water represents. It represents intuition. The message of this card is follow your intuition and you will take the right path, the path of freedom and happiness. You know, so, and also it's not just intuition, water is also emotions, right? So it's like, yeah, I think since there's like a lack of water energy here, there's no, except for the moon, there is some water energy here with the moon, but you don't see any cups energy, you know. And the moon can, in tarot, not necessarily stand for water. It can stand for other, actually, wait, you do see the cups. You see the Nine of Cups. So there is some water energy, but I don't see a lot of like romance here, because like there's actually more of a rational go-getter energy. Also the Five of Cups. You do have cups, yeah. But the Five of Cups, again, is kind of like negative emotion. The moon is negative emotion in tarot. So another like literal way is that you could see this person as coming across as really sad. Maybe sad, brooding. Again, there could be Scorpio energy because you have the number 8 coming out twice. Is it coming out more than twice? Actually, 3 times. Check this out. You have the 8 of Wands and the 8 of Swords twice. So this person could give off some scorpionic vibes as well. The moon also represents a duality where you might sense like definitely there's more to this person under the surface, and you could sense this could seem really kind of like maybe even borderline weird or scary or something, but it's like you can sense that this person has a darker side. Depending on how they come across, you sense that there is a side to them that they keep hidden that is almost opposite to what they're showing to the world. You have the Chariot and the Moon. This person could have a Moon-Mars conjunction, or you could have a Moon-Mars conjunction. This person definitely has a strong Mars energy as well. I think for some of you, you might think that this person is actually really emotional and volatile. Ironically, in some ways. Maybe not volatile. I mean, depending on how healthy they are expressing these energies, some of you might see them as, you know, a little bit too inconstant, whereas for some of you, this person could just come across as really passionate, really driven by their emotions, in the sense that, you know, they, let's say, want to impress their family, so they're very goal driven, that kind of thing. Definitely a kind of Peter Pan energy, hefty energy of fire, definitely more than average energy of fire here. So that means they come across as really passionate, really active, like I said, dynamic. They could be into sports for some of you, you know. This is the vibe that they're giving off. They don't like to sit still, definitely. This is really specific, but for some of you, this person could be really interested in vehicles. Maybe they're passionate about their cars or something. But let's see, what else? Celebration and ancestors. This is interesting. This is really specific, but when you first see this person, they could remind you of something that some ancestor, like not ancestor, someone in your family told you about your future spouse. You know what this reminds me of? I don't know how many of you have seen The English Patient, and there's this scene in the movie where this is happening in World War II, and she's playing a piano, and a guy shows up, and she falls in love with the guy, and he happens to be from a foreign culture. Hello, the world card. Happens to be he is Indian Sikh, and she is French Canadian, and she goes and tells the English patient that I'm gonna marry him because my mother always told me that if I were to get married, I'm gonna summon my husband by playing the piano. Like, I don't know, the whole scene just came into my mind when I looked at these two cards. Like, maybe something like that's gonna happen. Like, when you see this person, it's gonna remind you of like something that maybe your relatives told you about your future spouse, you know, like, and how they're gonna be. This is really specific, yeah. So let's see what else. They definitely come across as having a sensitive, nurturing side as well. And like I said, I think they keep their sensitivity hidden. You're gonna sense, I think, most likely a hidden vulnerability with this person. But yeah, so it's good. Like, you're gonna get the sense that they have a hidden vulnerability, but they're trying really hard to be, you know, act cool and tough and on top of the situation. All right, let's see what the astrological notes have to say. Spirit, what can you tell me from pile number 2 and their future husband? What are their future impressions, their first impressions, sorry, of their future husband or wife? Okay, that's enough. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 2? What will be their first impressions of their future spouse? What will be their first impressions of their future spouse? Tell me for pile number 2. Ninth house. This is a confirmation of the world. 8th house. This is Scorpio energy. Confirmation and more of that 8 of Swords energy. 3rd house. This is the Chariot. This is willpower. This person comes across as very stubborn and strong-minded. 11th house. Interesting. This could be someone who has a following, an audience. 12th house, again, more travel and faraway land. Leo, interesting. Scorpio, oh my God. Yes, confirmations. Aquarius. Oh, I was going to say this, but I forgot. The 8 of Swords, again, if you come from my astrology channel, you know about this because I did a video on it. But the 8 of Swords is connected to Satabishak Nakshatra, which falls in Aquarius, in my opinion. And here we have Swati with more Rahu energy. Aquarius is also co-ruled by Rahu, like I said, so Rahu energy. Uttarashadha, the Sun, more Sun energy, like Leo. Vishaka, which is Jupiter. Yes. And Dhanishta, interesting, which is ruled by Mars. All right. These are nakshatras or lunar mansions, by the way, for those of you who don't know anything about Vedic astrology. All right. So the first impressions, let me break down the astrological notes. Confirmations upon confirmations. You have the 12th house, which shows this person, again, could come across as very intuitive. That explains the moon card coming out. You know, like they're very in touch with their subconscious. They're maybe even borderline psychic, or you could feel like you have a psychic connection with them from the first connections, because you also have the 8th house. The 8th house and the 12th house. This person has really strong psychic energy. They also have a strong sexual energy, I think, with the 8th house. You can perceive that kind of intensity about them. There's definitely an intensity going on. The 9th house, again, and the 12th house could show that this person could come from a foreign culture, or you could perceive them to come from a foreign culture. You see them as exotic somehow. They might even be speaking a foreign language. They have a different mother tongue than you. That's part of your perception of them. You see this person is very good at communicating and also having a very strong willpower. And they're also, you see them as someone who has a lot of friends. You see them as someone who is maybe surrounded by people or easily makes connections. You could also see this person as somehow providing you with some kind of a gain in life. Maybe with respect to social status especially. Like you see this person as maybe being able to increase your social status and your professional sphere, yeah, somehow. And another thing is, yeah, this person is definitely, I think, good looking with the Swati, with the Dhanishta. You could see this person as someone who is very intense, very driven, hardworking, physical. Like I said, they like, yeah, they have a lot of Mars energy, I think. Also Jupiter, they have some Jupiter going on as well. So actually Vishaka is partially in Scorpio. So you have a lot of like Libra to Scorpio. You also have Aquarius, Capricorn energy. A little bit of Sagittarius. Let's see. You also have Aquarius and Scorpio repeated multiple times. Interesting. Yeah. So this person also, you could think of them at first that they are masculine. So irrespective of their gender, there's a lot of masculine energy here, actually. I would say more masculine than feminine, even though the moon shows up as well. So this person comes across as pretty intense, but also really spiritual. Like there's someone who really is making an effort to educate themselves, you know, likes to expand. But again, they could be really opinionated, and they might have some opinions that are contradictory to your values, let's say. Or you could see them as having like fixed ideas in some way, like they're not easily swayed, you know, they don't easily change their mind. I think definitely this person is very physical. Like I think they could be into typically masculine sports like martial arts or anything competitive, you know, fighting and weapons and vehicles, and I think typical masculine stuff. Cars, did I say cars? I think I did. And they also have, like I said, an interest in the spiritual side, and they also have a talent for arts. Like they could be good at dancing. That could be like part of your first impression. This person is good at dancing, or like you like the way they move or something, the way they carry themselves. Maybe for some of you they could be good at singing, although I don't see that so much actually, because I don't see a lot of Venus or second house. But I would say dancing, maybe acting. But there's something creative about the way that they express themselves, and yet they, oh my god, like I can understand why the number 8 came out 3 times, because you have, now it just dawned on me, and you have the 8th house as well, but you have 3 out of 4 fixed signs here. The only one that's missing is Taurus. So it's not a surprise that this person comes across as really stubborn, very willful, and not open to change, which is interesting because you have here, didn't I say from the beginning there's a resistance to change? Oh my god, yeah. Confirmations upon confirmations, because these signs definitely show someone who doesn't want to change, you know. So I'm feeling like now that I see this, like you're definitely seeing them maybe as someone who won't budge from their lifestyle. So, or yeah, somehow they're gonna be difficult to get moving into the direction that you would like them to go. So just based on this, the relationship could go slow in the beginning, right? You might even start out as friends, maybe, because you have this Aquarius energy. Yeah, but you see them as like creative, strong-willed, masculine, also brooding, intense, profound, sensuous, and also very kind of avant-garde, non-conforming, and very independent with this Aquarius energy. Yeah. All right, so this is pretty much what I can see for you, pile number 2, and I hope that you have enjoyed this, because I definitely have. And if you have, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It will only take a second and it's free. And click on the notifications bell if you want to be notified when I post a new tarot reading. And also, if you're interested in a private tarot reading, you can check out the video description. I will leave my contact information there, my email address. You can email me for a full list of reading options and pricing options. And also, I will leave a link in the video description to reviews that I've gotten from previous clients for private readings if you're interested to check it out. And also, please comment in the comment section with anything you would care to share. And also, last but not least, I have an astrology channel, and I will be linking it in the video description as well as in the pinned comment. So if you're interested in astrology, go ahead and check it out. Maybe subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you at my next tarot reading. Bye! Welcome, pile number 3. This is your reading if you have chosen this card that says Pure Nature with the number 7, and or this smoky quartz crystal. So you can skip through this because I'm going to take my time to select the cards. I'm going to add timestamps. You can skip directly to your reading, just in case you have wound up here without wanting to sit through the shuffling phase. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 3, the people who chose the smoky quartz crystal? What are their first impressions of their future spouse? Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 2, the people who have chosen the smoky quartz crystal? What are their first impressions of their future spouse? What are their first impressions of their future spouse? Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 3, the people who chose the smoky quartz crystal? Okay, nope, I'm not going to put these back in. Too many, Spirit. All right, Spirit, what can you tell me for the people who chose the smoky quartz crystal? What are their first impressions of their future spouse? All right, these just wanted to come out. You get an extra card, number 3. Oh, butterfly rebirth. You can reinvent yourself, open to the rewards of change. You have brilliance to share with the world. Love every part of your journey. All right, second insect, ladybug. Good luck. You are a bright energy. Let worry go and be happy here and now. Feel good about being a loving and colorful you. You bless the world with color and good luck. And wolf, quite the contrast from the 2 insects. Pathfinder, release your past and start a new journey. You are a teacher and help others find their way. There will be challenges, but your soul is strong. Perseverance is your secret power. You have a love that endures. All right. Protection and kindred spirits. Very nice. All right. Kindred spirits. And now let me read the description for this card that says pure nature with a number 7. Reading from the booklet. All right. Grace, blooming, youth, freshness. This young girl is flourishing as she develops into a woman. She loves her body and is aware of her unique beauty. Just as this girl does, cherish the beauty nature has given you. See the softness and grace, and keep the secrets of youth in your heart. The red peony symbolizes respect and honor, ideals that must be recognized in ourselves before we can genuinely share our true nature with others. Wow, like, you know what the first thing that these cards make me think of? This makes me think of, like, the Beast from the Beauty and the Beast. Because you have, like, butterfly rebirth and you have the wolf. There's, like, this feeling of this person doesn't see their beauty, but you see them as beautiful. All right, I'm going to see what the rest of the cards have to say. Just some first impressions. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 3, the people who chose the smoky quartz crystal? What are their first impressions of their future spouse? Help me out, Spirit, please. Give me the right messages for pile number 3. What is pile number 3's first impression of their future spouse? The 10 of Stones, or the 10 of Pentacles, the 6 of Cups, the 10 of Swords, the 4 of Cups, the 8 of Pentacles, ooh, and the 2 of Cups. All right, more cards. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 3, the people who chose the smoky quartz crystal, what are their first impressions of their future spouse? What are their first impressions of their future spouse? What is pile number 3's first impression of their future spouse? Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 3? The people who chose the smoky quartz, what are their first impressions of their future spouse? The King of Cups. Oh, the Devil. The Lovers. Someone is hot. The Two of Swords, interesting. The Four of Swords. And the Star. Wow, like pile number 3. You're gonna marry someone who's very attractive. I would say extremely attractive. I have to say, considering these cards, I wonder if my initial assessment was correct. Because I said maybe this person doesn't see their beauty. But considering these cards, I find it hard to believe that they wouldn't see their beauty. However, it is possible because, you know, a lot of people have complexes about their appearance and they really don't see themselves as attractive, even though most people might think that they are. In any case, this person you're going to marry is someone that a lot of people see as attractive. And you're going to see as much. You're going to see it from the beginning because you have all these cards. You have the Star, you have the Lover. So you're going to be smitten with this person. All right, you also have the Butterfly with Rebirth, you know, and again, we have some more butterflies. Like, by the way, if you felt drawn to pile number 1 at all, you might want to check out that reading because there might be messages for you, but only if you felt drawn to it. But yeah, it's a lot of flashiness, a lot of attraction. Do you see here the symmetry between these cards? Like, look at these cards. You have 2 swans and 2 swans. I mean, to be fair, yes, the swans are a symbol of monogamous love, of romantic monogamous love. So this person, and look, you have this message here, if you remember, in this oracle card that says, perseverance is your secret power. You have a love that endures. So you're going to have a long-lasting marriage with this person, I think. I know that I said this is about first impressions, but more messages are coming through here. I don't think this is just about first impressions. You know, I think you're going to have a really long relationship. This is a monogamous union. However, your first impressions, all right, about this person, aside from the fact that you're going to be smitten, I think this is going to be like love at first sight. For most of you, you're just gonna, I mean, for some of you, it's gonna be like, this person is too good to be true. You might think you're not good enough for this person, because, like, they're definitely really attractive. They're someone who easily turns heads. They could be seen as a catch by a lot of people. You have a lot of Venus energy here. And this shows that this person has some traditionally attractive features. Irrespective of their gender, they could have a bit more feminine features, or, I mean, let's be honest, women are considered the fair sex, and a lot of the times features that are seen as traditionally feminine are actually attractive on both genders. So things like having nice skin or full lips, or, I don't know, big wide eyes, you know, there could be something there. Like, they could have features that are more seen as traditionally feminine, but they're going to be very attractive, even if this is a man. I mean, if this is a woman, very, very likely this person is very feminine, you know, and like sensuous and, you know, like overflowing. It's not a coincidence that you have this with about, you know, the young woman blossoming into a flower. You know, this is literally how this makes me feel. This is like a lush beauty, like a rose, you know, like blossoming. It's in bloom. You also have this image of the garden here. You also have this person, look at this, a mermaid surrounded by mirrors and not caring. So again, the Four of Cups here with the Two of Swords does suggest that you think of this person as being surrounded with suitors and not caring. And considering my initial assessment of the Oracle cards, I really think this person, no matter how attractive they might be, they may not actually perceive themselves to be the catch that they are seen to be by others. So your impression might be that they're very arrogant at first because you see them as really attractive, and you see the Four of Cups here showing, you know, this person is just narcissistic, because in this image, you know, you have someone surrounded by mirrors, like, you know, brushing her hair, like not noticing anything. But the Four of Cups tends to show an energy of someone who has a lot of options and is not interested because they're so overflowing with options and they're bored of everything. You know, it's like they're someone who's like oversaturated with attention, basically, in this particular context. So yeah, you might see this person as someone who is arrogant, and maybe you might think, especially if they're single when you meet them, that, and I'm saying if because that's not a given, I don't know, I mean, I'm not seeing that from the cards in any sense, but if I would have gotten the Hierophant, I may have said, okay, you might think this person's married. But yeah, this person I think most likely is single, and you might think that this person is single because they're so in love with themselves, and because maybe they're having a lot of affairs, and they have so many suitors that they just cannot choose one particular suitor. So they're so confused about who to have a relationship with. But in reality, it could be that this person is insecure, considering these Oracle cards. With the Protection and the Two of Cups, you might have a feeling of like this was meant to be from the beginning. And you feel like this is someone that you could have an equal partnership with. You're going to feel from the beginning that, you know, if you were to have a relationship with this person, that they will be equally invested. Like, this is not someone who is going to take you for granted, or someone who falls into traditional gender roles. And, you know, especially if this is a man, this is not the kind of man who will want a typically submissive wife. At least these are your first impressions. I'm not 100% sure about the rest, how the rest of the relationship will unfold, I mean, but this is the energy that I'm getting. Another thing is, you might perceive this person to be a workaholic because you have the Ten of Pentacles, you have the Eight of Pentacles. You might perceive them also to be quite financially abundant. And you also could perceive them to be a bit childlike and a little bit innocent, so having a sweet side. I'm getting like this is someone who might have dimples when they smile. You can definitely perceive them as someone who's really sweet and, you know, has a touch of romanticism about them. The Ten of Swords can show that you see this person as very, I mean, not very, but somehow when you meet them for the first time, there could be an energy about them that seems depressed or tired, maybe even broken. So there could be something about them like they're just coming out of a dark night of the soul, or they're coming from a dark chapter in their lives. I think very specifically for some of you, you might perceive this person as someone who has struggled with addictions, or someone who's you definitely perceive this person as very sexy or like sensual. I think you might also think this is someone who has a lot of affairs. I'm getting a little bit of a Scorpio vibe here in this pile. And also Also Cancer. I'm getting Scorpio, Capricorn, Cancer. Maybe some Ardra Nakshatra. Also Venus. Yeah, but you're definitely going to see this person as like your aesthetic ideal. You're going to be smitten with how good looking they are, how attractive they are. I mean, yeah, you're going to be like, oh my God, are they even real? You also see this person as having, like I said, the Star and the Four of Cups. Like I said, you see this person as someone who has a lot of suitors. And they could very well have a lot of suitors. It's just that I'm not so sure that they are conscious of that. And you also see this person as someone who is very introverted and quiet. Like they're very inwardly focused into their inner world. Yeah, this is pretty much what I can see from the card, really. And also with the King of Cups, one more thing is this person could appear to have a higher status in a corporate environment or in some kind of a hierarchical structure. They are someone who has you perceive them at least as someone who has a lot of emotional intelligence, has the ability to lead others. Someone that is being, yeah. I mean, for some of you, very specifically, this is someone who could have a media following. Because you have the Star and you have the King of Cups here. Yeah, so it's like this person could have a vibe of a lot of people listen to them. All right, so this is pretty much, like I said, pretty much what I can see. Let me see what the astrological notes have to say. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 3, the people who chose the smoky quartz? What are their first impressions of their future spouse? Spirit, what are pile number 3's first impressions of their future spouse? I don't know about this one. What are pile number 3's first impressions of their future spouse? Anything else, Spirit? No, I'm not feeling this. All right, just 4. Spirit, what are pile number 3's? All right, first impressions of their future spouse. What are pile number 3's first impressions of their future spouse? That's enough. I don't know, this one? No, I'm actually getting it. All right. Loads of notes. Let's see. 5th house. That explains the 6 of Cups. That's a confirmation. 1st house. Definitely the Star. That explains it. Like, this person attracts attention. 9th house. Okay. So, there's a philosophical nature to them. Or you might perceive that. 8th house. This is Scorpio energy. Let's see more. Gemini could be a confirmation. I did say Ardra. Ardra falls in Gemini. I mean Ardra Nakshatra. Cancer. I did say Cancer. Capricorn. Confirmation again. Taurus. I did say Venus. Let's see what else. And Venus. Bingo. I'm very strong confirmation, I swear. Because, like, you have a lot of number 6s, which is Venus. It's ruled by Venus. Oh, this is 7. But you have, like, 6 here, 6 here. I mean, you have the Devil is a 15, which boils down to a 6. You have the 6 of Mirrors. Yeah, I don't remember if you have others. Yeah, but you have a lot of Venus energy here. So you have Venus, definitely. She's got it. Yeah, baby, she's got it. Anyway, so Anuradha, Scorpio, Saturn, which is more Saturn energy. Let's see. Scorpio and Saturn energy. Mula. Oh my God. The animal associated is dog or wolf. Okay, that's why I also partially said Ardra. I forgot that Mula is also connected to the wolf, but because you have the wolf here, that's what I mean. Kritika, okay, more sun energy. So 5th house, you have Kritika in 5th house, and Ashwini, which is, all right, in Aries and ruled by Ketu. Interesting. So, first impressions, all right. This person is creative, fun, has a brooding energy, definitely sensuous. Like I said, Venus, 8th house. This person has a lot of sensuous energy about them. And they come across as broad-minded, potentially very, they could come across as also maybe religious for some of you. They also come across as mature in outlook. With respect to age, I couldn't say either way. They could, I don't see like huge age differences. They could be either slightly older or slightly younger, I think, for most of you. And I'm seeing here with Venus, yeah, like I said, they could have traditionally feminine features. So they could have full lips, beautiful skin, you know, let me think, nice voice, charismatic, dimples when they smile, nice smile, nice teeth, and nice hair as well. Yeah. And with Gemini as well, they could definitely have like a kind of a youthful energy as well, and a kind of a, how should I put it, versatile, curious, you know, kind of like Quicksilver sort of energy. So they can come across as very youthful and active as well, but they also have, whoops, the recording interrupted. So where was I? Yes. The Ketu energy and the kindred spirits, this could show some kind of a past life connection. So you could have a feeling of deja vu when you see them for the first time. You know, there might actually be Ketu conjunctions in your synastry as well. If you come from my astrology channel, you know what I'm talking about. So Ketu is the south node of the moon, and it shows past life connections. Yeah, so this is pretty much what I have for you, pile number 3. And if you have liked the reading, and I hope that you have, because I definitely have, don't forget to subscribe. It will only take a second, and it is free, and it's the easiest way to support my channel. And also click on the notifications bell if you want to see when I will post a new tarot reading. And comment in the comment section with anything you would like to share about this reading, whether it resonated, it didn't resonate, and also maybe suggestions for future topics. I will take them into account. And also, check out the video description if you would like to get a personal reading from me. I will leave my contact information, my email there. You can email me for a full list of options with prices. And also, I will leave a link in the video description to reviews that I have gotten for private readings up until this point. And go ahead and check them out if you're interested. All right. And also, last but not least, I do have an astrology channel as well, and I will be linking it in the video description as well as in the pinned comment. So if you like astrology, go ahead and check it out. Maybe subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, and I hope to see you at my next tarot reading. Bye. Welcome, pile number 4. This is your reading if you have chosen this card over here, the Observer with a number 50, and or this Jade Crystal. So once again, this is going to be the shuffling phase. I'm going to add timestamps if you want to skip through it, because I will be taking my time. Spirit, tell me about pile number 4. What will be their first impressions when meeting their future spouse? Spirit, please help me out. All right, this one wants to come out. Spirit, help me out. What are pile number 4's first impressions of their future spouse? Spirit, what are pile number 4's first impressions of their future spouse? Help me out here. Help me choose the relevant cards. peacock vibrancy. You were born to shine and inspire. Practice humility to avoid jealousy. Be grateful for life, and more good things will come. Be true to yourself and recognize your brilliance. Interesting. Lizard regeneration. As a survivor, you are unparalleled. No matter what happens, you can adapt. Embrace your transformation. Put on your new cloak. You are a master of regeneration. And let's see. Nature and gratitude. Interesting. You have nature and you have lizard regeneration. So I already feel like nature is strong for this person. Maybe interest in nature is strong. Maybe they have placements in Ardra or Kritika. And you also have this person taking, like, this person who looks like a nature photographer. Interesting. With the number 50. So let me read the description from the booklet. Let's see, number 50. The observer, patience, awareness, focus. A woman is looking through an old-fashioned camera, ready to take a photograph. She observes the landscape before her. All is quiet, all is peaceful. We don't know how long this woman has been waiting for the perfect shot. She has the patience to remain focused until the decisive moment presents itself. Strength lies in her calmness. She lives in the present and does not get easily distracted. All right. Nice. Interesting. So already I'm feeling this is someone who I think has a healthy amount of feminine energy or is in touch with their feminine energy and loves nature. But let's see what the cards have to say. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 4, the people who chose the jade crystal? What will their first impressions of their future spouse be? Help me choose the right tarot cards, Spirit. What will their first impressions of their Spirit, what will their first impressions of their future spouse be? So let's see. The Ace of Cups, the Emperor, the Two of Cups, the Five of Cups, the Knight of Wands, and the Devil. All right. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 4, the people who chose the jade crystal? What will be their first impressions of their future spouse? Help me choose the right tarot card, Spirit. What will their first impressions... All right, that just popped out. What will their first impressions of... their future spouse be? Tell me, what will pile number 4's first impressions of their future spouse be? The Hierophant, the Four of Cups, the Five of Pentacles, the Two of Swords, the Ace of Cups again, the Queen of Wands. Very interesting. So I'm going to start by saying if you felt drawn to any of the previous piles, especially pile number 3, you might want to check them out because there could be messages there for you, but only if you felt drawn to them. All right, so this is really interesting because already I feel like there's a double confirmation of a double energy of the Devil. And the reason I say this is you have the Devil here as, this is called Bella Rosa, very interesting with this masked person here, like that looks like they're ready for the Carnival of Venice. But in another deck that I have, I think it's like the Green Witch Tarot deck, if I'm not mistaken, one of the decks that I have, the devil is known as nature, or it is, yeah, it's called nature. So I feel like, to me, already the way that I would interpret this is that you have like a very strong devil energy here. And then you also have the Ace of Cups twice. So, and you have the Queen of Wands underneath the devil, which is even more interesting. And you have transformation. So already I feel this person has a very strong Scorpio energy, very strong, or maybe slash 8th house. 8th house could be prominent in their horoscope. Maybe Ketu could be prominent in their horoscope. And Ketu meaning the South Node, all right? Or maybe this person, this is really specific, but I think for some of you at least, this person could be into things like Wicca, paganism, maybe even magic, maybe even voodoo, black magic, stuff like that. And the reason I say this is because you have the Queen of Wands with the black cat, and the Queen of Wands speaks of having a shadow side, and it's right underneath the devil. So your first impressions of this person, all right, and I know that I said first impressions, but I really think that for some of you, I mean, your first impressions could be very accurate. What can I say? Because you have, especially with these piles where I have like the same card coming out twice, there's a particularly strong message from Spirit about this person's energy. So I think in your case here, it could be that you perceive this person to be someone who has struggled with addictions or is struggling with addictions. You could perceive this person to be kind of a Jekyll and Hyde sort of person, in the sense that they could have like a dark side, they could have a light side. So, and you're not really sure like which one of them is going to pop out first. There's maybe an air of unpredictability with respect to this person. You also have the Knight of Wands, which shows a very energetic, passionate sort of individual. It's, you know, the Knight of Wands is kind of like, I think the pirate here is a good depiction in the sense that, you know, it's a very kind of youthful, masculine energy. That's how I would describe it. And not very youthful, though. I'm talking someone who is a young adult, basically. But someone who's really passionate, on the go, ready to take on life, you know, full blast. And it's also interesting here because you have two cards that are, I would say, quite negative. I mean, you also have the devil, which is potentially quite negative, but these cards, like the Five of Pentacles and the Five of Cups, to me, this shows like, number one, you think this person is not grateful for the opportunities that they have. Your first impression could be that they are poor. Like, this could literally be an interpretation because you have the Five of Pentacles, and I don't see any other pentacle energy here in this spread, which is quite unique for your pile, I would say. And like the only pentacle you have is a negative pentacle, basically. It's like you have minus money here. Sorry, but this could be first impression. So your first impression could be that you see this person as someone who's not particularly wealthy, or like someone who's not doing well financially. And that's interesting. Like, you might be thinking that this is someone who is wasting their money on addictions. So in correlation to the other cards, you might also be thinking that this person is someone who is mulling over the past. I mean, look at this. Yeah. I think this person at first may not notice you the way that you notice them. And you might see them from the beginning as someone that you could make a great couple with, in the sense that you might be sensing that they are your equal, like they can meet you halfway, and, you know, with even amount of energy and investment in the relationship. So this would be like a balanced relationship. but they don't see that at first because you have the Five of Pentacles underneath. So either they are too concerned with their issues, like with their problems in life, to notice that you are a great match at first, or they could be thinking, for some of them, that they're not good enough for you because they don't have a, let's say, a high enough financial situation. I think this could be literally the case for some of you. It's really interesting because you have a lot of affection for this person, I think, from the beginning with the Ace of Cups. Like, you literally see them as love. Like, it's really interesting because the Ace of Cups stands for the energy of love. This to me is like very heart chakra, five, you know, the fifth house in astrology, or the sun energy. So you see this person as really sensitive and very romantic, I think, and you definitely feel, I think from the beginning, you could even have like a little bit of love at first sight for this person. And you also kind of sense that there's someone who is a very loving person, someone who, you know, has a lot of affection, has, you know, like literally a bleeding heart. I mean, not literally, hopefully. I mean, you know what I mean? Like a bleeding heart sort of personality, someone who cares about others and gives affection and maybe puts themselves last. It's really interesting that you have the Ace of Cups and you have the Hierophant underneath. This could be a message for some of you that this is a person who either has been married or has divorced, either is married when you meet them for the first time or they are divorced. That could be one interpretation. And or it could also be that this is a person who is a teacher, or they have a following of some sorts, or they could even be in something to do with religion, like, yeah, religion or some kind of spiritual guidance or something. Maybe they are, I don't know, in a position in church or temple or whatever, like mosque or any other place of worship. Maybe they're involved in the religious community or in a spiritual community. That could be something that you're thinking at first, but you see them as someone who other people listen to. You definitely have a lot of number 5. You have the 5 of Cups, the 5 of Pentacles, the 5 on the Hierophant. Yeah. And you also have the number 4 twice, which is interesting. So I feel like this person is an interesting dichotomy between, on the one hand, having a strong desire for adventure and having a youthful sort of energy that wants to bounce around from one thing to another, but they also deep down seek stability. Since you have the Emperor and you have the Hierophant, to me, these are, both of them, relatively mature male figures. So especially for those of you who are looking for a man, masculine figure here, I think this person most likely is older than you are, because there is that energy of maturity here. You know, there's an energy of, this is someone who has a certain level of experience, and they are, you definitely also see them as someone who is, like I said, looked up to, right? Something that, someone who a lot of people listen to and seek advice from. So you see them as someone who is like a mature person as well. And you see this person definitely as very attractive. This is interesting because you have the Devil energy, you know, and I don't see like any strong like potential Venus energy, for instance. So I think this is the kind of person who is very attractive, but they may not be conventionally attractive. You know, you see them as someone who, you definitely find them attractive, but they may not be like someone that everyone would find attractive. They're not a Brad Pitt or an Angelina Jolie, you know. I think they have a kind of attractiveness, a kind of sex appeal, maybe even, or a kind of charisma that they just give off, and you pick up on that, but it may not be that they're the most conventionally beautiful people. And they do, however, have, I think, or at least you think, that they have a lot of suitors. So you also see this with the Four of Cups underneath the Emperor. So your energy here, your perception is that this is someone who has a lot of people vying for their attention, and they kind of seem like they're bored and they don't care, you know, so they don't seem as, at first, they're not going to come across as particularly approachable or open for relationships to you, right? You might think that this person doesn't really care much about having a romantic relationship, but they also give off a lot of romantic energy at the same time. So it's really interesting here. Something about them could be, you know, very interesting. This is like giving me kind of like Thornbirds sort of vibe. Like maybe there's someone who, by virtue of their persona, there's something romantic about them, about their aura, you know, and a lot of people find them intriguing and attractive. So you assume that they have a lot of suitors, and the reason why they don't have a relationship is because they just don't want to settle for one person. However, I don't think that is true, because you also have that Two of Cups. You also will most likely see this person as an ideal partner from the beginning, someone that is like cut from the same cloth, and someone you can have, like I said, a balanced partnership with, where both of you are mature and both of you could put the same amount of energy into the relationship. But like I said, this person could be a little on the fence, right, about you. You also definitely see this person as kind of hesitating. So one interpretation here could be that it's like sometimes they're giving you mixed messages at first. You could perceive them to show you some interest, and then maybe they pull back a little bit, or they maybe, yeah, give you confusing messages, and that probably is because they are confused themselves, you know. And in the sense that they could be confused about, you know, whether this relationship could work, whether you like them back, or a lot of insecurities, because they do have a lot of Cups energy, so that shows a kind of sensitivity and also vulnerability as well. And yeah, I also think this person has insecurities, even though they may not show that insecurity. And you have nature and gratitude, and you have peacock and lizard, which is really interesting. So like I said, I think this person really cares about nature, and they take pleasure in the simple things. This is definitely not someone who is materialistic, you know. And you're gonna see them as having a high status, but not like to the point where they're rolling in money or something. So yeah, this is pretty much what I can see from the cards. So let me get the astrological notes now. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 4, the people who chose the green jade? What will be their first impressions of their future spouse? What will their first impressions of their future spouse be? All right. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 4? What will their first impressions of their future spouse be? What can you tell me for pile number 4? What can you tell me for... All right, that's like way too much. But I'm going to look at all of them because I took them out. So, okay. So you have 6th house. Interesting. This is the house of health and service. 3rd house is the house of willpower. 12th house is the house of faith and far away. This could also be places of worship, like I said. 11th house, this is a house of having an audience. So again, this person could have an audience. So for they could be, you know, having an audience in the sense that they maybe are, you know, religious, involved in a religious community, or they could have a social media following, and there's a variety of options, but they are somehow in a position where other people listen to them. Capricorn, this is a confirmation of the Emperor energy. This is someone who's mature and has a stable position in life. You have Venus, which is the devil energy. This person is very sensuous. They give off a sensuous energy. You have Cancer. Like I said, it's interesting because I saw the number 4 come out twice, so that's connected to the 4th house in Cancer. You also have Mercury, which also is connected to the number 5. So that explains the changeability and the dichotomy with this person. You also have Leo. I've taken out maybe too many of these yellow cards. You also have Virgo. That's more Mercury energy. You also have Taurus. This is more Venus energy. You also have Scorpio, like I said, that's a confirmation. Mars, that's more Scorpio / Aries energy. That explains the 3rd house. And Aries, that's a lot of Mars energy. Like, oh, this is like triple Mars energy here. All right, so let's see with the nakshatras. You have Ashwini, which is again more Aries energy, and Ketu, which, wow, like tons of nakshatras here. All right, so Satabishak, which is an Aquarius, and it's ruled by Rahu. Let me see. Come on, open. Ashlesha, which is in Cancer. You have like multiple confirmations here. You have Chitra, which is ruled by Mars and falls in Libra. So you have a little bit of Libra as well. That is also hand in hand with the Venus energy. Punarvasu, interesting. Gemini, Cancer energy. Revati, a lot of Mercury stuff going on. All right, I'm putting them here because I have nowhere to put them anymore. And Ardra, interesting. Yeah, Ardra makes a lot of sense with the nature cards. I think I didn't even mention in the beginning, I don't remember, that there could be Ardra placements. Ardra is one of the nakshatras that is most connected to nature and love of nature. Yeah, and animals. So loads of things to unpack here. So, like I said, 6th house, your impression could be this person is very focused on service, serving other people, very focused on health and work. And they are very likely to be employed as well, actually, wait, they're not very likely. They could be either employed or self-employed because you have the 6th and the 3rd house. The 3rd house shows independence more like. And the 3rd house shows your first impression is this person is a good communicator and also someone who has a very strong willpower and someone who's very intelligent. You also are going to see this person is very faith-based and maybe somehow connected to working in isolation or coming from faraway lands to some extent. Also, they come across as someone who has, like I said, a large following and can easily make friends, I think. They have a support network in any case. So here we have Capricorn, Venus, Cancer, Mercury, Leo. In fact, a lot of these energies are kind of supporting one another and they can blend in. Like these 3 are Mars energy, these 2 are Venus energy. Yeah, these 2 are Mercury energy, and then you have Leo and Capricorn, which are Sun and Saturn energy. So this person, like I said, I think there could be an age difference. I know initially I said for most of you this is an older person, but it could go either way because you also have Mercury. So for some of you, this could be someone who's younger than you are. But I do think that in most cases, there is an age difference here that is significant, at least a few years. And we have Scorpio, Mars, Aries, a lot of sensuality, a lot of energy. The Aries energy also explains the Knight of Wands, the Leo as well. So this person has a lot of fire energy, but they also have that vulnerability shown by Cancer and Scorpio. So they have that inner depth and sensitivity. And they also have emotional intelligence and a lot of empathy, most likely. Virgo and the 6th house are going hand in hand, showing that this person really cares about service and taking care of others. So you might perceive them as like also being connected to healthcare to some extent. And you might perceive them to be a little bit workaholic as well. Also, they are definitely, something about them is attractive. Like I was actually about to say, like when I said because of the devil energy they are attractive, I was gonna say animal magnetism. I think with the Ardra, you can safely say that this person does have some kind of animal magnetism, and also Ashleisha. They kind of go hand in hand. And yeah, so there's a kind of sensuality about this person. There is something just seductive about them, even if they're not conventionally beautiful, although I think they could be very much so. And for some of you, again, bear in mind that, you know, since multiple people are going to watch this, you can have like a combination of different energies here. So you're also going to see them as someone who's quite flashy, maybe someone who likes to show their looks, likes to dress colorful, likes to dress in a way that, you know, shows off their appearance, their body. And you also might perceive them as really blunt. You're definitely, I'm picking like healthcare stuff here. So like you might perceive this person as working in healthcare for many of you. Yeah, also having the ability to relate to a wide variety of people from all walks of life and having a lot of empathy. Yeah, there's a repeated theme of someone being a healer here, involved in medical professions. Yeah, I think for many of you, this person could actually be in a medical profession, or you see them as someone who could be a good healer, as a healing energy. However, you also perceive this person as dabbling in addictions, I think, for some of you. There's a repeated theme, right? With the devil showing up, and now with Revati showing up, and also Ashleisha to some extent. Those are connected to pharmaceuticals. Revati can be connected to addiction as well. And yeah, so there could be that for some of you. Also, the Punarvasu is a repeating theme that this person literally could be involved in some kind of religious organization or a spiritual organization. Maybe that's not their main career or whatever, but it is something that is significant with respect to their personality, their energy. So they could be very faith-based as well, because you also have the 12th house. So they could care about their faith a lot. Another thing is you might perceive them as someone who is very maybe opinionated, someone who speaks their mind bluntly. But I don't see them as someone who speaks a lot, actually, funny enough. But they actually, when they do speak, they don't mind, you know, ruffling feathers and offending people, even if that's necessary. So I see them as, you perceive them as quite blunt, and you also just perceive them as really attractive, definitely. But I'm definitely feeling like with this pile more than the others, where I picked up like signs of attractiveness, this pile in particular is much more focused on sexiness, like as opposed to like so much beauty, you know. It's like there's a lot of sensuality here. So like I said, this doesn't necessarily mean that they're not conventionally attractive. It's just that even if they're not conventionally attractive, they give off some kind of a strong attractive vibe here. And you also could see them as being good dancers and being really in love with horses for some reason. Horses and travel as well. And yeah, they come across to you as very passionate as well. All right, so this is pretty much what I see, pile number 4. And I hope that you have enjoyed it, because I definitely have. I think you have a lot of confirmations here from Spirit, definitely strong messages. So if you have liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the notifications bell to see when I will post a new reading. And also please comment in the comment section with any feedback you would like to give, maybe ideas for future readings you would like me to do on this channel. I would greatly appreciate them. And also, if you're interested in a private tarot reading, you can check out the video description. I will leave my contact information there, and you can email me for a full set of reading options and prices, pricing lists. And also, I will leave a link in the video description for reviews that I have gotten so far for private readings. You can go check them out if you're interested. And last but not least, I also have an astrology channel, and I will be linking it in the video description as well as in the pinned comment. So if you're interested in astrology, especially Vedic astrology, you can go ahead and check it out. Maybe subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you at my next tarot reading.